Today we have a very exciting update for XRP. There's something which just happened in the Ripple v SEC lawsuit that you guys all need to be made aware of. We've been talking through the last month and a half or so about this snowball effect within the XRP community, where basically more and more influencers are starting to hop on the XRP bandwagon. But really, the amount of support has been absolutely wild, which is why I, by the way, think that we should try getting 1,000 likes on this video. If you're watching this right now, let's just see if the support for XRP is really a lot higher than before. That's just for fun. I honestly think this snowball effect is becoming more and more apparent, as we're also seeing it in the update which I'm about to share with you guys in just a second. Now, for reference, the XRP price is not up like crazy today, even though most of the times when we got ourselves such a bullish lawsuit announcement, the price shot up a little bit as well. It might, however, have to do with the fact that Bitcoin was breaking down piece by piece over the last couple of days, and so XRP has not found that bullish incentive. But with all the other positive news in the crypto community, like for example Google opening up to crypto payments, it not pumping the price shows to me that there might just be too much manipulation for XRP to break out of. Where if Bitcoin couldn't break out of Google accepting crypto for payments, yeah, XRP is also doomed for the first very short term, right? In terms of manipulation. Now, there are actually a couple of different things I can share with you guys in terms of things that are good and things that are, I guess, going on in this snowball little train. Like, for example, the fact that more and more people are now on the side of Ripple in the lawsuit, and more guys like Charles Hoskinson are also trying to describe why they are so excited about XRP's victory, I should say. More and more people are starting to notice this ball is going to roll on further, and I have a couple of screenshots on my phone here from, for example, I believe the Bored Ape Yacht Club also getting some SEC investigation, where more and more people are starting to notice how important Ripple's victory is, but I digress. So the update is as follows. Judge Torres, over the SEC's objection, grants iRemits and Tabjet's request to file amicus briefs in support of Ripple. You might look at this and think, what's that supposed to mean? I think I can explain it pretty easily though. There are two separate companies here, iRemit and Tabjets. Both of these are an entity that works outside of Ripple's jurisdiction, or whatever Ripple does. They're not necessarily connected, they're not controlled by Ripple. These are two companies though that do rely to some degree on XRP as a payment option. And for that reason, they decided to come inside the lawsuit, enter the lawsuit as friends of the court, I should have said, because one of the Howey prongs says that the majority of the effort and whatnot is by the company that's above it, which they mean Ripple by. And these companies are trying to say, well, but we're using XRP completely outside of Ripple. We rely on it a lot. You know, why can't we do that? Why is everything connected to Ripple? What's your problem, SEC? And it was very interesting that this came out because, well, a lot of lawyers were now saying, oh, most likely the SEC is going to be going on the complete objection side, and every single part that they can, they'll object. Of course, they tried for a little bit to object some small parts, but honestly, the SEC kind of accepted their faith on this one. I'm thinking the main reason why the SEC didn't really interact too much is because, well, they've tried to interact on every single step of the way. And with this one, it was an instance of there's an independent party trying to become a friend of the court, trying to give their information about how they utilized XRP throughout the last couple of years as an independent party not affiliated with Ripple, to the court. It would be very, very difficult for the SEC to object even more. What they said as a small objection at first was, well, we're outside of the discovery period, so they're a little bit late to come and give new information. We're already past that. And the judge, of course, was like, I don't know about that one. So they didn't even bother because it would have been really, really impossible. Ripple's defense was also pretty strong by saying, well, you sued us. You should have known all this stuff. You should have known what these parties were going to say. If you didn't have a defense ready for whatever they're going to say, then you probably weren't prepared enough to file the lawsuit, so to speak. This is the long story short. To just quickly come back on the point, the judge, again, over the SEC's objection, grants iRemit, the company, and Tabjet's request to file amicus briefs in support of Ripple. She basically allowed now these two parties to go ahead and support Ripple in the lawsuit to a certain degree, as they're basically going to share their opinions on XRP and their methodology of working with XRP to the court, which is huge because they're going to showcase that they're using XRP independent of Ripple. You can see I'm not sure if you guys can see this, but it got 7,000 likes as well over the last couple of hours. This came out while I was sleeping or almost asleep, so that's why I didn't do an update earlier. And actually, we're gonna get this, as far as I understand, pretty quickly, because take a look. The court has reviewed the request by iRemit and TabJets for leave to file an amicus curiae brief dated September 30th, 2022. And the parties' letters dated October 4th and October 5th. Accordingly, the requests are granted, and by October 14th, which is in 2 days from now, iRemit Inc. and TabJets Inc. shall file their briefs. Amici, again friends, are reminded that the briefs must comply with the requirements set forth in Section 3D of the court's individual practices in civil cases. And what that basically means, this last part of Section 3 and whatnot, is just the standard formatting of how to file this specific brief, right? What it has to look like. Nothing too crazy, nothing too special. But to get back on my earlier point, this is a very nice thing for Ripple. This is a minor victory in a very, very big war, I understand. But these minor victories add up. We've been covering time and time again that the masses, albeit that a little bit vague, but massive amounts of influences on different levels, like Charles Hoskinson from the founder perspective, a lot of the influencers like Lark Davis, Crypto, all these guys are switching up. Earlier we saw BitBoy switching up, whom I've actually met for the first time in real life yesterday. And I also met Altcoin Daily for the first time, all here over in Dubai. But yeah, you guys have all seen them switch up to a certain degree at least. And as far as I know, that's mostly because they're starting to see the opportunity and they're starting to see the longevity in this. They think that Ripple will win, which is, I think, what the majority of people are thinking. But even if they do end up winning, that is going to have some grave consequences on the entire crypto market. Some people are not realizing this yet, but I think it's just going to be a matter of time because people got to realize this specific part. If Ripple does end up losing the Ripple v SEC lawsuit, almost every single altcoin out there is going to be doomed. The SEC is going to use all this case law in the next upcoming lawsuits, and it's going to be nearly impossible for these future crypto companies to defend themselves, because what can they say that Ripple didn't already try? Any consensus, any distribution, it doesn't matter. I think if Ripple loses, a lot of altcoins are screwed. And that's again what Charles Hoskinson also noted upon. You know, if XRP goes down, Cardano's going to have a really, really hard time. And I think the majority of meme coin founders and actually any founder, protocol founder, they all know if XRP goes down, the whole lot goes down. You might say, oh, but it's centralized. Well, that one is pretty hard to prove, but a little bit more difficult to prove as well is the fact that, for example, Ethereum had a real ICO. XRP didn't. The way in which the funding was done, they're going to have to backtrack. I'm talking about next crypto projects. They're going to have to backtrack this for every other crypto project out there. Backtrack and rethink about, again, the SEC, how they can still sue them for some way, shape, or form. And the companies themselves have to backtrack and think how they can justify that they raised money for something. It's just going to be awful. But that is only if Ripple does end up losing, which I don't think is going to happen. As long as they win, this is going to be the strongest thing for any other crypto company out there. The SEC has got so much funding and they're in such a crazy hunt. They're most likely going to go after nearly every single crypto company out there for at least some sort of discussion, some sort of little slap on the buttocks. But there's a very good chance that if Ripple does end up winning, that all these other crypto companies are just going to be able to use all Ripple's past proofs and explanations and then just get off scotch-free without that much of a hassle. But to that, I have to say, we'll see. We, of course, have to wait for Ripple to win first. That's the first step in our master plan. But once it happens, I think the gains are going to be absolutely insane, which I've already told you guys a couple of times in the past, which is the reason why XRP right now is the #1 crypto in my portfolio. I hold literally the most amount of XRP out of any other coin that I hold in terms of dollar value. And honestly, I'm not really thinking of changing that up anytime soon. More and more bullish updates are shared in this lawsuit every single week, it feels like. Now, in 2 days, we're going to get another nice little brief from these amici, from these friends of the court. TabJets and iRemit are going to be sharing their brief in 2 days from now. It's really been an uphill, no, I'm going to say a downhill slide over the last couple of days in terms of the snowball getting more and more severity, just growing bigger and bigger. All right, I wanted to say uphill because that sounds as if you're, making progression, but I'm saying downhill because it's going so ridiculously fast. I couldn't imagine that 6 months ago there was so much doubt, so much uncertainty, and right now, I would say the certainty is at a ridiculously high level for the majority of the people. Which is why I also think that the XRP price is 3 times-ish the price that it was after they just got sued. I think the price went to 17 cents or so. Right now it's at roughly 50 cents. And yeah, I kind of hope that the XP price stays down a little bit lower for a little while, because since I think they're going to win, I'm just stacking up XRP like a madman. And then the moment that they do end up winning the lawsuit, I think my XRP is just going to go to the absolute moon. But if they go to the moon now, then I don't have that much time anymore to stack up XRP, if you guys know what I mean. So yeah, I'm stacking up like a madman. No, it doesn't matter what you do. I'm just saying, hey, I think they're going to win. I think they're going to do well. Of course, this is not financial advice, just my thoughts. But yeah, if you're also looking to buy XRP or trade anything, check out the links down below. There's a link to Bybit. There'll be a link to some other exchanges down there. Make sure you check them out, and I'll see you guys again in another crypto video later today.